I did promise you guys. I did promise that sooner or later, when I get my hands on that movie, I promised I was gonna review it. It doesn't matter if it was gonna be like 3 months late, but a promise is a promise. I rented on a Redbox because at least I can afford $2, which is a penny compared to the immense budget that this movie had, and at least what it deserves for the bullcrap that it was charging. Mulan 2020. God freaking damn it. Curiosity got the best of me. But I never expected that it was gonna be that bad. It's probably the most beautiful bad movie I have seen this year. Mulan 2020. Oh my god. How many people have been talking about this movie ever since it came out? And I was just sitting there saying, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it because, oh my god, it gave me the curiosity to watch it. They warned me. I didn't hear it because I wanted to see it for myself. It's almost like someone told me that the ruins, some evil people destroy a city. Everything is in shambles. Everything is horrible. You can't go there. But I was like, I gotta see this. Oh God. Whew. And guess what, guys? See this? This is a little bit of a scrapbook. And I decided to take notes because at least one of the benefits that I do have about watching a movie on the TV is that I can pause and sometimes rewind to see what the hell, what is gonna happen. But gosh damn it. And you know what? I'm gonna go through almost all the movie because at this point there were some idiots who saw this film, and you know what? At this point, probably nobody will care. But you know what? For a movie like Mulan 2020 and all the China history that Disney is doing to China, I think it deserves one more measly guy making a vlog talking about this movie and giving his all 2 cents because that's what it deserves. My God. Alright, where do I start? Again, let me reiterate. I'm not against China. I'm against the Disney business practice of trying to suck or leech out of the Chinese things. And honestly, the first time I saw the trailers and all the thing about the Mulan movie, 2 things came into my mind. My number one is, goddammit, they're rebooting, they're making a live-action version of a movie that is gonna be kind of like a copy-paste of an animated film that has a much more passion and much more charm than any other of those goddamn live-action movies that these assholes have been doing. I mean, they didn't learn from last year. Why do I expect they're gonna learn right now? Not even in this era. I mean, remember, last year my worst movie of the year was Mulan. No, it was Aladdin. Sorry about that. Mulan, let's get on my head. And number 2, looking at how pretty it looks, and looks even more beautiful compared to all the other American-style live-action reboots. Funnily enough, I had the same vibes that Eric Cartman had when he saw the Chinese Olympics.
No! The Chinese! No! Somebody has to stop them! They're gonna take over the world! Too many of them. No! Leave us alone! No!
Yeah! I'm not the kind of guy who wants to think about that, but that's what this movie gave me. And I didn't want it to be that kind of guy. I want to give chances to almost everything. I mean, I was curious to see how the people are gonna say that, oh, we're gonna deviate from the from the animated film. We're gonna make it more realistic. We're gonna make it a little bit more grounded. It's not gonna be a musical. Okay, fine enough. I'm gonna give you the chance that you're not gonna be a musical. There's not gonna be Mushu the Dragon? Okay, I like Mushu, but I wouldn't kill me because honestly, Disney will have, when they're doing their live action adaptations, I would rather have them taking very little familiarity from their other movies. Make their own stuff. I mean, they tried with Pete's Dragon, and as far as I know that people don't like that movie, I like that it felt too different from the other one. And Dumbo was close, but it was a boring ass film. But okay, I'm gonna go with that one. But before, yes, I know the elephant on the room. What about the controversy? Yeah, the controversy about the main actress supporting the police brutality that was happening in Hong Kong and all these things. Okay, yes, maybe it's for it is. I partially also blame the actress because I think idealistically, an actress should also portray the character usually, because I know that you're acting. But when you act, sometimes you're leaving out your soul and mind, what you're trying to be as a character. This is usually what I think that how people see in castings, and you have to give out kind of like a good impression of that. But when you have an actor that kind of supports something that, in the eyes of people, might find it kind of controversial. You're not gonna look well enough, and honestly, Twitter is basically that kind of like a place where if you say the wrong words, they're gonna eat you alive. So in this case, maybe sometimes you're gonna keep some of your opinions a little bit to yourself. You might express it. But sometimes it is a big gamble to do it. I'm not gonna go 100% against the actress, but yeah, I think that basically is she reaps what she sowed. And also, of course, that after the movie, there was also the that they filmed on near a concentration camp knowingly, that it kind of gave out a little bit of bad taste out of it. I'll leave it at that because I understand that sometimes locations can be tricky. Not trying to defend, just in case. But what actually pisses me off is the $30 on Disney Plus $8 for the subscription. This is robbery. Robbery, robbery, robbery. And you know that I boycott Disney Plus because Disney Plus, no matter how many Mandalorians you're gonna give me, I'm not gonna pay you a cent until you are out of the picture. And or unless you stop censoring our beloved cartoons or beloved movies. Stop with the censorship, please. I only got your trial only to watch this piece of shit movie called Artemis Fowl. And guess what? You didn't impress me. Whew, man. Okay. And for that, I'm gonna start out this long-ass video vlog about Mulan 2020, based on the animated film of Disney, which is actually based on a popular couple of poems named the Ballad of Mulan. The story about a woman who joins the Chinese army in the stead of her sick father, and she becomes a national hero, despite the Chinese regulations that women can join the army, and of course her, let's say her feminine disadvantages that she had. It is an inspirational story. I haven't read it just in case, but I've seen the movie and I know some of the quips enough to know about it. But you know what? Current Hollywood mentality kind of poisoned this movie. So in today's episode, I'm not gonna it's one of those in which I'm not gonna give out, my vague explanations about it or something about it. I'm gonna bullet point some things that I wrote on this sketchbook. I mean this scrapbook, because there are things that you gotta know, because no. The thing is that, sorry, my mind is racing. Because I gotta take note of all the things that kind of bother me or pisses me off or something like that. And since at this point everyone saw the movie, I wouldn't mind spoiling everything. So, first thing that I noticed, Disney logo on with Chinese content. Yeah, this is something that Disney's doing now to their logo, in which, the Disney logo comes and the terrain is basically based on the movie you're watching or something like that. Then the movie starts, it's all, again, beautiful looking. This, I'm gonna say that I have pretty much not much of a complaint, because it's beautiful, but it's something that I always warn. You know these flies, when the old fly sapper, that their basis is that it is a bright light, and since insects are apparently instinctively attracted to it, it's so beautiful, but then this is what this movie is, and you'll see that the budget goes there. And I can't believe that I wanted out of this movie on the first 5 seconds of the movie, because the narration happens and the guy apparently he kind of says that her daughter is unaware of the sword, that she's raised well, she's a fine woman, but she's unaware of the sword. She's unaware of the sword. Yeah, well, Mulan was like that. But in the movie, it doesn't help that you say that, well, in the background, you see young Mulan practicing with a quarterstaff. So, basically, the little girl knows how to fight. And of course, every people talk to me about how awful the beginning is, because we start out with young Mulan as a little girl, and she's chasing a chicken. She's chasing a chicken, to say, hey, it's quirky and everything, and she knows everything. And apparently this girl is Son Goku, because she begins to have flip. She begins to flip, going over the rooftop. She masters the staff like she is freaking Donatello. And the funny thing is that this thing doesn't bother me too much, but the thing that bothered me is that I even had to rewind it. Is that there was a moment in which, while following the chicken somehow flies onto the roof. And I was like, how did he do that? I was more bothered with the chicken going through the roof more than Mulan's acrobatics. And apparently every people see her like that she's probably a witch. The father begins to tell her that, well, she has a strong chi or something like that. Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. You know what chi is, by the way? Well, I mostly learned the word chi because I like Dragon Ball, but yeah, at least they utilize the word chi in an acceptable manner in Dragon Ball. But chi is basically it's basically the life force. Let's say that when people have this life force energy that we cultivate in order to become a better person or a stronger person. It's kind of like it's basically an elemental knowledge that originated many years ago in Asia. Apparently, young Mulan has a lot of chi, and apparently because of that means that she's a witch. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, what else I'm gonna say? Then we start out the movie years later, and we see the first invasion of the Roran. Yeah, the Roran. Just in time before that, which funnily enough, it's kind of a little bit accurate with with Chinese history, because in the animated movie of Disney, the enemies are the Mongolians, and I was researching a little bit, and apparently Mongolians didn't fight the Chinese people during that time. Some historical things that I'm a little bit vague about it. But so to make it more accurate, they're fighting Rorans, which they're mostly nomads. But not just all. Remember the hawk from our main villain of Mulan? Well, they pull out a Maleficent on it, because this time the hawk is a literal witch that can turn into a hawk. She can infiltrate into the walls and of course make assassinations and all these things. She kind of do all the job for the guys. Okay, and of course then we see Jet Li as the emperor, bathing in light, like he's kind of like the enlightened. But it's kind of stark contrast, because the way he talks like the villain. And because he's saying like, there are no places like for witches or something like that. And of course, like the Ballad, he orders to build an army, and for that army he orders for one man of every family to join the army. Kind of, the order. And then of course I'm gonna continue with this. Oh yeah, there's also the dialogue in which the witch apparently always talks to the main villain, saying that I'm not a witch, I'm a warrior, kind of imposing her femininity out of it. I know, I don't want to do this, but you're begging me, movie. And I have to play sometimes the bad guy when I talk about this, and it makes me feel bad, but I have to address it. But I'll address it a little bit more later. Okay, what else is that? What else did I say? Yeah. After that, we see Mulan. She's gonna be arranged for what was what was it? The arrangement, the arrangement to to find a proper. You know what? I forgot the term, but it's kind of like to become a proper woman for a guy or something like that. They make her put up the makeup and everything. And here's one thing that I want to say: the makeup is horrible. This is probably the worst makeup I have seen. It's awful. They make them look like clowns for Halloween. And not even Harley Quinn is that awful in her makeup. It's pretty bad. Okay, what else there is? Oh yeah, with the lady, the arrangement of the tea, and apparently they wanted to play it funny, in which Mulan hides a spider under a tea kettle, and they're like, "You're gonna what's in there? Raise it, do it." And she does it, to reveal the spider and scare the living hell out of the other woman. And in my mind, it's like, you could have told them at least, there's a spider there. I got a sister that's afraid of spiders. And of course, in that scene, she show off her acrobatics. And apparently, dishonor! Dishonor! I'm not even halfway through the movie, and how many minutes I'm dead? Oh, you know what? Whatever. Okay, she's dishonored, and then of course the army comes to announce that they need a man of each family in order to join the army. And of course, like the Ballad, Mulan's father has to go because he only has 2 daughters in this movie at least. But of course, he has an injured leg, but his pride and honor doesn't let him say that, no, I'm not gonna retire. He wants to join the army. Look, here's the thing. I think I saw, after watching this awful movie, I watched the Disney Mulan thing to take comparisons, and I saw something very key and showing you why this movie lacks subtlety. In the original, this movie, when the father wants to get the order, it's clearly that he has a bad leg. He's very sickly. He shows signs that he cannot be fit to fight in the army, and he tumbles in front of the people of the army. He tumbles in front of them, and you still want him there? It's not. And unlike, because I bet that even in the army, as strict as there is, they wouldn't want men that are injured because they're not going to be useful for battle. So once they could have seen this, they would say, man, you're not fit for this, so I can't let you. But no, they still say, okay, go on. But in the animated version, the guy hid it. He gave his wife the cane, and he walks, struggling of course, but he maintains his pride in order to hide that he is an old man that is not physically fit for battle. But still, he has his pride and takes the order. So that worked better because he hid it from the army. Okay, let's continue on. Well, or else we're gonna stay here forever. But this movie's gonna take forever, of course. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of masochist thing as sputters, and now that I put this, is that I wanted to make a countdown in this movie, but I didn't have the heart to go back. So, for any of you people watching that wants to rewatch this movie, make a drinking game of how many times this movie says the word honor. Do that. Yep. I wanted to count down how many times this movie uses the word honor. And by the way, here's a little bit of a nitpick that I do have in a lot of American interpretation when they talk about China or sometimes Japan, is that, well, yes, honor is basically kind of like an important thing, but number one, not everything that is about China or Japan is all about honorable. My honorable thing, or honorable dad, or honorable this, honorable that. And by the way, movie, you know, I want to ask you, of course, what is honor? That is something that even in the other Mulan movie I want to ask. I mean, what is your definition of honor? Honor, personally, in my mind, I would say that it is the sense of pride. It is a pride, kind of like a healthy pride of feeling good about yourself, or the feeling that you're gonna do the right thing, so that the family doing the right thing, but feeling good about yourself too. That's something that comes into my head, spontaneously when I think what it means honor. Even when doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, as long as you think that you're doing it in order to not only protect your identity, but also for a good cause. That is probably a significance of honor. Mostly pride, I'll say. So honor and pride kind of probably are the same thing. But anyway, continuing on with Mulan, we get, of course, the scene in which Mulan takes pity of her father. So at night, she basically steals her father's sword, her father's armor, her father's horse, her father's order, and in the animated movie, she cuts her hair, which I've been said that in real Chinese culture, cutting your hair during those times is a taboo, because basically it's dishonoring your body or something like that, and it is also punishable by law, from what I heard. So, okay, but still, for the sake of for the benefit of the doubt of the Mulan movie, the benefit is that since it is animated and it has some fantasy elements, I wouldn't mind some of the some of the Chinese inaccuracies on history, because the good thing about the animation is that sometimes you can break some rules. So I could probably say that was mostly probably a fictional version of China. That I could buy that. But this one, oh my god. For many of those directors that wanted to say that we're gonna make it more realistic, it doesn't sound realistic when you have kind of like a 5-year-old who having the acrobatics of a young Super Saiyan and a witch. So much for realism. Okay, fine by that. You can do that, but next time be more honest on what you're trying to promote. Okay, continuing on. Also, the scene of the parents realizing that Mulan left the army is less impactful in this movie, because the father kind of doesn't take it hard. He's like, My daughter made a terrible mistake. Yeah, it's almost like he's more concerned about her daughter doing a mistake instead of I lost my daughter or something like that. Sometimes animation can do better emotions than these guys. So I think that there was some kind of cold concern out of it. And by the way, another thing that I forgot to mention is that this movie tries to hammering you that this movie has a representation of Mulan with the Phoenix, which, granted, the Phoenix it does. I've been reading a little bit of these mythologies because I'm a big sucker of mythologies, and I've been hearing that there are various representations of the Phoenix in different cultures, and guess what? Here's something very interesting that I actually found out while investigating for this review. The Chinese version of the Phoenix they don't rebirth. Believe it or not, they don't rebirth. So now I'm very curious to look more in depth about that. So basically, yeah, there is this Phoenix that is following Mulan from that point on. Beautiful looking bird, CGI bird. I'll get to that when still moments come. So let's continue on. So we get to the army, and then we got to the soldiers, acting like like that. And for some reason, there are moments in which the adults, the army, are kind of acting like high school children. I don't know. I think they should be more mature than that. I mean, they're fighting a war, for Christ's sake. Okay, so what else do I got? Yeah, we get this long-winded, army moment in which it's kind of boring, and you kind of don't care much for Mulan, because the thing is that that Mulan is powerful. She already showed it when she was little. And she wanted to become more powerful, and you don't buy it. At least the benefit of the doubt with Goku, that as powerful as Goku is, he's flawed. Goku is dumb, but he wants to prove that his strength is to prove himself to be better, even around the universe. So no matter how strong Goku gets, there's still lots and lots of room for improvement for this guy, because he wants to become a better person or a better fighter. And of course, he follows his bloodline. And you know what? He doesn't always win. He doesn't always win, even when he gets into the most powerful moments, because it also shows that when you get too much power, there is a toll for that. And Mulan, at this point, she's already flawless. And the clumsy things feel forced. I do remember that from this point, I just stopped to go eat a sandwich or something like that while having the movie running out, because nothing much happened that I kind of cared, because everything felt kind of boring. I only saw, seeing what was the name again? The Orans invading another city. The witch claiming that she's a warrior, and the leader saying that, well, they stole these plates from me, so they dishonor me, and you're not only gonna get treasure, but also you're gonna get revenge. And apparently he's kind of boasting because most of the grunt work is done by the witch. It's the witch, and the witch is like, well, I did the work, I did the job for you, or something like that. And then, of course, we got Mulan, who begins to become even better than the whole army. And of course, she's kind of like, no, I gotta hide my chi. What chi? What chi? Because as far as I remember, chi is life force. And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong. Does being a woman means that you have chi? So does chi? Having chi is can make you identify your gender? I want to know because chi is technically universal. It's neutral. It doesn't tell you what if it's a man or a woman. So what is it? You got me confused to death. Okay. Oh yeah, they did wanted to add, the bath scene from the animated movie in which Mulan takes a bath because apparently she stinks, and this is where the guy who befriends Mulan, who barely I know the name, the guy who apparently wanted to be kind of like a bootleg-based version of Shang, but Shang doesn't even appear in this movie. They wanted to cut it out because they don't want it to build out some romantic tension out of it. He's kind of like the closest thing to it. But that scene was kind of awkward because the guy approaches her, even though he doesn't know that she's a woman. He kind of approaches her like he has a crush on her, or him in this case. So it was kind of awkward. This is something I wanted to say. Okay, what it is, then comes again, like I say, the witch, the rural ransancy, and the guy even say that, okay, you're not, you're my, that witch is my slave, or something like that, and, oh yeah, by the way, I want to mention that the witch, her makeup I think she could have looked cool in Avatar: The Last Airbender, although animated, of course. But in this case, she kind of looks here like she belongs to the DC universe. Oh, and speaking of that, I don't know why, but the main villain, I don't know why, but he reminds me of the villain of Iron Man 2. I don't know why. Okay. Okay, so basically, yeah, we get, of course, that Mulan trains herself to become better for the army, and yada yada yada. Again, the witch do all the work. I'm reading from this just in case because I wanted to tell you about the whole movie. Okay, and apparently the movie. This is what I wanted to talk to you also. The movie wanted to show you that there's three important things. What was it? You have to be loyal, you have to be brave, and you have to be true. Yeah, apparently Mulan gets hesitant of the true part because, well, she's not telling the truth that she's a woman, and she wants to spout it out saying that, hey, I'm a woman. Woman! Do you remember why you're here? If you revealed yourself that you're a woman, you'll dishonor your father. You'll be executed, of course. That's not that technically then leads to being disloyal to your father, and you're not being technically brave. You're being foolish. My God, your point is that you're there to save your father from recklessly joining the army. Sometimes, I hate to say this, but I learned that from Danganronpa 3. Sometimes it's okay to lie. Okay, let's continue on. Okay, then we get to the massacre. With the massacre, the village of Ransack. Well, I do appreciate that there are corpses. Honestly, I had more emotion in the animated movie because in this one, it felt pretty rushed and all these CGI things. I think that for a movie, in this case, it would have helped if there was blood. Although in the animated movie there isn't, but there is kind of, you see on the back on a foreshadowing. I think blurred kind of like piles of corpses there. Although they don't show bodies or something like that because of course Disney are pussies now, and they're pussies. They're pussies then. They were pussy before, and they were pussy forever. Okay, so continuing on, and then apparently Mulan has the powers to, to be a leader, because everyone has feeling fear about that. And then of course we get to the battle, and boy. It starts the battle, and the movie has Mulan matrixing 2 arrows. And there was also a point in which Mulan dodges 2 arrows, which leads to those 2 arrows killing off 2 of her comrades. Way to go, Mulan. Okay, what else there is? She goes along to fight the witch. And apparently the witch is like, I know who you are. Your lies are poisoning your tea. Really? Really? Just the thing that she doesn't admit, apparently, because she thinks she's a man, that means that she's poisoning tea. Okay, I know a little bit about the challenging about this, but that movie didn't earn itself to talk about tea like that. Okay, so basically there was a battle to the death between between Mulan and the witch, and then the witch is like, so I'm gonna kill you right now, and she throws her a shuriken onto her, and she survives because instead of shooting it on her head, she shooted it on her armor. Very, and she leaves there. She leaves it like that. For a witch assassin, you didn't do a good work. So okay, what else there is? Oh. And then apparently the movie becomes very, very pretentious, saying that this is where Ping died. You know, Ping, it was the fake name that Mulan gave herself in order to join the army as a man. It's a Ping died here, but Mulan was reborn. And then the Phoenix was there. Oh God, and that Phoenix in a moment. So Mulan strips off her armor and goes into battle without her armor, and she basically becomes Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Okay, for the sake of argument, maybe the armor was too heavy for her, but in battles like that, there are the essentials of armor. It protects your body from piercing damages. But in this case, Mulan kind of strips it like, no, this is man stuff. You still need an armor, woman. And maybe it's because your mobility, you can move better without an armor. Okay, I can buy that, but in order to say that, no, it's because I'm gonna show myself that I'm a woman and all these things. Oh my God, I'm sounding like a Japanese pig when I not want to be that. Because I get it, movie. I get what you want. Okay, continuing on. Okay, Mulan entered the war. She remembered that because she remembered that I am Mulan. I'm a woman, so that's when I become more powerful. She shows no fear, and then she causes the avalanche by enemy stupidity. Oh, this is something that I want to talk. In the original animated movie, in order to cause the avalanche, Mulan uses fireworks in order to cause the avalanche. In this case, Mulan technically shoots an arrow in order for some catapulters turn around and then say, "Hey, there's an archer! Shoot the catapult!" I didn't see this clearly, but I'm sure that you don't need a catapult to get rid of one archer. And even if they do that, shouldn't they have seen that? No, don't shoot that way. There's a mountain there. Okay, there's the avalanche, of course. What else? What else there is? Okay, yada. Mulan saves everyone and buries almost a whole army of rants, and then she shows herself with the, with her army, and of course, here's another thing that I wanted to say, because the movie kind of says that almost every single thing that you should not do in the army, like lie, steal, or something like that, is punishable to death. But one thing is that betrayal, expulsion. What? The only thing that could save Mulan from death is just punished by expulsion, because apparently being disgraced is worse than death. In ways, yes, but still. And because of that, Mulan apparently had saved face, and she's like, well, I saved your army. Well, but you're still a woman. You lied to us. You're expelled. I prefer death. Kind of having face value and saying that, no, you saved our lives now. Now this is my way to repay. Away, go away. You dishonor us. So, and if you come back, I will grant your wish and I will kill you. I'm here. You can kill me right now. Okay, I'm trying to make a joke out of this. So she's disgraced, and the witch returns to say Mulan that, you know what, you and I are together, are the same. I don't have a home. I'm disgraced, but here I am. Join my side. And Mulan out of nowhere is like, no, we're different. We're different. I'm gonna tell the others that your Ruan army is approaching the emperor, and I'm not gonna be like you. Number one, bitch. Bitch. What did the army do for you? You didn't even build kind of like a bondly friendship with your comrades, because your relationship to them was very boring. Unlike the animated film, in which Mulan, despite her weaknesses, she grew up alongside her comrades. Here's the thing that I want to say about the animated Mulan, because why she is admirable despite the controversy that the movie had. Because the animated Mulan, she had flaws. She had weaknesses that she had to overcome. She overcome her with her wits, her smarts, and she also trained herself to have some strength. In the strength of her spirits, and from a weak person turning to a strong person, that becomes admirable to even her fellow compatriots, especially with the Three Stooges that she bonded with. And boy, that she inspires even to. She started out being bullied by those guys. But then, because of her hard work, they began to respect her so much that they began to befriend her. They even started out being idiots, and with the training, they grow up alongside her. Unlike this movie, that basically Mulan is perfect. We're getting over with. Okay, let's go. Okay. She dies. There's a fight between Mulan and the villain, showing her acrobatics. Then she loses the sword melts, and then the phoenix appeared. And here's why the phoenix is there. He's there because again the emperor's like, you can rise like the phoenix. And that just Mulan for stand up, and the phoenix, who was flying around everywhere, he gives out this very moment. The moment the phoenix is important to fly behind Mulan to show that she has wings like the phoenix. There is one case that I hate to say it, that it has the worst case of wings, receiving your wings that I have. But this thing hurts me a lot that I'm not gonna say it. But, that moment of Mulan hurts less than that moment that I hate. This one goes a little bit on par, mostly because a lot of factors. Number one, that shows how pretentious this movie feels. There are ways to represent everything, like someone having angel wings or bird wings or dragon wings or anything like that. I've seen better. I've seen better ways. But in this case, it's the execution of the symbolism that shows how pretentious this movie is. Because we have this phoenix that is following Mulan almost everywhere. And this phoenix has no purpose. It has no way helping Mulan or any way possible. It follows her, but if your only reason is to give out this symbolism, what was your purpose? That makes this phoenix a walking pretentious symbol, that which it thinks that is being clever, but it kind of more contributes to the pretentiousness that this movie has. And showing the pretentious side, it is a, how can I say? It's not seen very well. It doesn't make you feel, because nobody likes to see people feeling so important. It's kind of disrespectful in a way. Many people kind of complain of Mushu, the dragon, saying that, well, he's basically a North American playing comic relief, even though he has a misrepresentation of dragons, because first of all, dragons doesn't look like Mushu, they look more like snakes, and according to mythology, Chinese dragons, they don't breathe fire, they're more associated with water. Okay, you can say that all you want, but you know what? Mushu never bothered me. Never bothered me, even today. And you know what? I'd rather have Mushu a million times compared to the Phoenix, because at least, just like Mulan and her comrades, and even Shang, Mushu also had an arc in himself. And he shared it with Mulan, and he kind of becomes his moral support. As comic relief that he is, he was a good moral support, I would say. So for a comic relief, Mushu did a million times better compared to a Phoenix that just flies around only to wait its cue to stand on the back of Mulan. to show her wings. For a simple metaphor. You know what? Let's continue on. Okay. Because the movie doesn't end insulting even in the last few minutes. Okay. The guy is defeated, but then he and then of course with the last ounce of his strength he shoots an arrow, and there's kind of like this running thing in which a strong person can catch an arrow like this. And you know what? Jet Li grabs the arrow that's gonna kill him, and then he throws the arrow for Mulan to kick it and pierce the guy because he doesn't catch the arrow. Honor. Honor. Kill your enemy when he's down. Honor. Okay, but it is. Then we got the ceremony. They got another woman with a horrible makeup, and then like the Ballad of Mulan. Despite all the faults that Mulan had, they pardon her because she basically saved China, and they suggest her to become the Emperor's counsel. But of course she rejects and she returns to her family, which. Yeah, I'll find it good, and the father at least admits his foolishness. But then the army comes in order to give Mulan, the gift from the Emperor because of her ordeals, and that is another sword. With the sword, with the Chinese word saying, what was it again? Loyal, brave, true, and of course. And of course, on the back, they added another word that says, devotion to family. You didn't need it that, at least. The funny thing is that, take it like a nitpick, but maybe I'm wrong. For a woman that is supposed to be loyal, brave, and true, it's ironic that this is not what the actress represents. Because, I know the actress of Mulan is American Chinese or something like that, but she didn't show. She technically showed loyalty to the wrong people, so she's not loyal to her people. Brave, I don't know. Brave, but I think she was kind of foolish on showing her bravery on Twitter. And also true. You're not being a little bit too true to your roots of China or something like that. But okay, that's just a little bit of a random nitpick, and I might be wrong. I just trying to blurt everything about it. And of course, the Legend of Mulan is born. And the movie finally ends. Guys. That was a chore, guys. That was actually a chore. And I did this to myself. Mulan was bullshit. That was a horrible movie. It's a beautiful looking movie. But execution and story-wise, this is probably even more soulless than The Lion King. Well, actually, Lion King was more soulless because everything was CGI, but this one's soulless to the point that it felt like they had too much passion on the artistic, on looking good, but they also wanted to take advantage of the Hollywood mentality of progressiveness, equality and everything, which, again, is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, and I was actually pretty eager to see a Mulan that is technically a bit grounded. but it didn't happen. That was more like the Disney 47 Ronin, and I hate that movie too. If you want a better movie about honor, I suggest you to watch The Last Samurai. That was a better movie. But at this point, this is probably one of the worst movies of the year I have seen. And so, with that, I end this movie by saying that this movie brings such dishonor.